Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the live stream. That's right, the starts and the sits. We can ask DFS questions, any questions you possibly have on week 5 of the NFL, and I will be here to give the best possible answer I can and hopefully win you the week, win you some DFS money. Whatever it is you got in store, you got a trade question, I don't really care. But if you've got a question and it needs answering, I'm going to answer it for you. Make sure you drop it in that little chat there. And the only way you can ask your questions, don't forget, boys and girls, you have to subscribe to Fantasy Pros on the YouTube side. So click subscribe right now. And then you click that little notifications bell. That way you know when all the great content here gets released over here on Fantasy Pros. Every single podcast is on the YouTube channel. We have incredible other videos, incredible other live streams happening during the week. And you can be a part of this Fantasy Pros community, our family here, Fantasy Pros, talking football, figuring things out together, because we're all smarter when we all pool our knowledge together. But once again, if you even want to just troll me here, you have to subscribe. So that's the whole thing. No matter what you want to do today here in the live stream, you got to subscribe to the channel no matter what. And while you're watching football today, don't forget about Fantasy Pros Game Day. You get real-time play-by-play for all your players on all of your fantasy rosters. We track your matchups across all of your leagues, giving you the ability to monitor fantasy leaders' stats and scores for the entire season. Game Day is live on NFL Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays, but you can only find it at fantasypros.com/gameday or by downloading the Fantasy Pros My Playbook app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. So make sure you get after that and download that so you can get going. Let's get going with your questions here and see how you're all doing on this lovely morning here. Let's start with Kevin. Kevin wants to know Dalvin Cook or Alexander Madison. Well, guess what? I think that's going to be decided for you at some point in time. If Dalvin Cook is playing, I'm playing Dalvin Cook. If he's not, I'm playing Alexander Madison. This is not Chinese math. This is not going to be a difficult situation. Now, the question is, if you are going to put out Dalvin Cook there, right, and you are concerned with him, I get that. But if Dalvin Cook is playing, he's the guy you've put all that draft capital in, that draft stock. You have to play him if he's good enough to play. This is a big game. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I just talked about this game over on the Sports Grid channel. We're doing the live TV every Sunday, and we talked about this game being really kind of a must-win for the Vikings here. You've got Detroit, an in-division team you should beat up on. They know this is important. Things did not go well last week for the Cleveland Browns, or should I say for them against the Cleveland Browns last week. So you've got to make sure if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you win this football game. And if Dalvin Cook is on the field, you play Dalvin Cook. And if he's not, I actually feel good about playing Madison. Madison showed you a little bit in previous outings when Cook wasn't around. Madison was a little spotty. This last one, not so much the case. So all of a sudden, Madison's stock, I think, has built up a little bit. That is a positive thing. Let's go to another question here. Let's go to Jeffrey. Jeffrey wants to know, I have Hurts. I'm sorry you have Hurts. I hope you have some good times ahead as well. But you have Hurts, but if I have Lance, should I take a chance? Ooh, that's fun. It's almost like a haiku. I really like that. I like the way you framed that question. I'm going to say you still play Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been a QB1 every single game this year. Can't sit him. I know the Carolina Panthers defense is very good, and I know Trey Lance is very exciting. You want to play with the new toy that you just got for Christmas. But here's the thing. Some of those old toys you got in the closet, still pretty good. They're in really good shape, and they're still there for you. So I'm going to continue to go with Jalen Hurts. I understand the temptation here with Trey Lance, but Trey Lance was far from perfect last week. Now, hopefully, he gets more reps, gets a little more comfortable in the offense. Also, taking George Kittle away from this offense is not a great thing necessarily for Trey Lance in this start. So for me, definitely go with Jalen Hurts there in this one once again. He's been a QB1 every single time. Trey Lance hasn't done that yet. So why would you make that change? Why would you try to get cute here? Stick with Jalen Hurts. It's great that you have Lance. If Lance has a great game, he becomes trade bait in a single quarterback league for you without a doubt, or you hold him through the bye weeks, whatever you want to do. Next coming up here, let's talk to, Julian. Kadarius Toney or Brandon Cooks in a PPR. I'm concerned about the Pats defense shutting Cooks down completely. You should be, because that defense is playing very well right now. And I know they just got rid of Gilmore, but J.C. Jackson's played really well. They're getting really good pass rush there from Matthew Judon. I think the Pats defense is ready for Brandon Cooks. That is literally the one weapon they have. So yeah, I'm in agreement. And you know what? I don't have a problem starting Kadarius Toney. He is a little bit of a flyer play, but without Shepard, without Slayton, I mean, Evan Ingram is not very exciting. I think Kadarius Toney is a player that you want to get the football in his hands. And if they can get the football in his hands 5 to 10 times this game, he has the opportunity to break a big play. And that's kind of all you need in this scenario. I understand it's kind of risky. I get that. But Brandon Cooks was a player a couple weeks ago. I was trying to tell you, this is the time to get out on. It's not going to get any better than this. Tyrod Taylor's hurt. You've pivoted to a rookie quarterback. It can't possibly sustain anyway. But now that you're stuck in this position, I would go with Tony. I think Tony's got the upside, a little bit of fun too as you're watching the games today. And I'll be honest with you, like Cooks has, I think to me, equal about a downside as Kadarius Toney, but not nearly the same amount of upside. So give me Kadarius Toney. Let's have some fun. It's week 5. Let's go. The Texans are no fun. Let's continue on to the next question here. Never had it so good. Ooh-wee. Amari Cooper or Mike Williams? Yeah, if this is the kind of decision you're having to make, you might never have had it so good. This is an easy one. You play the healthy guy, which is Mike Williams right now. Now, I understand Amari Cooper is fantastic. I understand it's a great matchup. But clearly the health is not quite there for Amari Cooper. He could still have a really good game. Last week you did see, though, people are starting to make adjustments to this new Charger offense. They're starting to make adjustments going on here, trying to figure out, okay, make somebody else beat us besides Mike Williams. However, at the same point, Mike Williams has been good enough that I still have a lot of faith in him. I think I just go with the healthier guy in this matchup, even though the total might tell me Cooper. I think health is more important. I think it's very close. It's a good question. I go with Williams in this one. If it's wrong, you have to keep in mind, too, that Cooper has the possibility of going out there and playing and then getting hurt and coming off the field. That is a situation that can end up in a goose egg. And I don't think that's a chance I want to personally take. I don't want the goose egg. And that's always something that could happen with a player who's already got an injury going into a game. So I shy away from that, especially if you have a good guy like Mike Williams out there who's been so good this year. You go play Mike Williams. Next up, let's see. Wofi 794. Mixon or Sanders? As long as Mixon is playing, Mixon. I am done, and I can only assume we're talking about Miles Sanders, the running back here. I don't care if it's Emmanuel Sanders. I don't care if it's Colonel Sanders. Doesn't matter. Bears in 3. No. I believe that Mixon, if he's playing, you have to put him in the lineup. And Miles Sanders, right now, this is a bigger problem. Miles Sanders is in a bad spot. You would have thought there would have been an overcorrection where Miles Sanders would start to touch football more. Didn't happen. Instead, you got Kenneth Gainwell touching the football more, which is a player that's still only rostered in less than like 40% of leagues. I don't know how that's the case, but talking about this guy for 4 weeks now, but talking about even draft season as a guy you could even draft and stash. Kenneth Gainwell is a more exciting player in PPR than Miles Sanders right now. I know that sounds like a hot take. I don't care. Everybody thought things would get better when Doug Peterson left town. You can make the argument they have gotten worse. So, with that being said, I do believe right now you start Joe Mixon. Looks like Mixon's going to play. How much he's going to play, I don't know. But I know he's got more upside than Miles Sanders does at this point. I do not like where Miles Sanders is. And I always want to thank our good friend Chris for running the show today. I know he's got his magic spoon. He is eating his breakfast here. He always likes to have his breakfast with me. And I take that as a personal homage that he has his little breakfast. He runs the show here. It's very nice. Hopefully we can get him a nice cup of coffee. Maybe he's having some tea and scones this morning in honor of the London game. He's got some sort of weird brown water in a mason jar. I don't know what that is he just showed me, but it is terrifying. Let's move on from it. It looks like something from Oregon Trail. That's all. I don't know what the heck that was. Let's move on here. Bester Man wants to know, Damian Williams, Damian Harris, Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor, or Latavius Murray. Pick 2. I love this. This is fun. It's like going shopping. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to have to play Jonathan Taylor because he's the best back of that group. Now, it gets a little trickier. Damian Williams is probably where I go because Damian Harris is playing now behind a line that's got a lot of issues with it. They're going to have to run the football with Chicago. Chicago already showed you last week their hand. You know that's what they're going to do. Zach Moss, very good but limited. I think this game feels a little bit more like a shootout with Patrick Mahomes, so I would probably go with the touches of Damian Williams and the talent of Jonathan Taylor. I think that's my favorite combination, regardless of format. Doesn't matter. It's nice to have these problems. You have a lot of running backs. You should think about selling one because you know what? Or maybe putting 2 together for a better one if you can, because there's a lot of teams right now that don't have any. Just putting that out there. Let's go to Drew next. Hey, Joe. Hey. What's up, Drew? He loves the show, and I love you, Drew. Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith full PPR. Jalen Waddle is the only guy standing right now. Devontae Parker out. Will Fuller out. To me, it's going to be the Gesicki and the Waddle show today, for better or worse, against the Tampa Bay secondary that is not very good. Give me Waddle all day long. Smith is not a bad play, but I'm going to go play the the Waddle game today. And if you get yardage for kick returns, punt returns, he's your guy too. I don't know if you get that bonus in your league for any of that if you touch the football, because now that Grant is gone, Waddle's going to be the full-time guy there. That's a little sneaky bonus you can kind of work in. All right, let's go to Joe Doyle next. Boyd, Galladay, or Chuba Hubbard, half PPR. This is a tricky one. I think with Higgins back, I kind of fade Boyd just a little bit. Higgins really is that dude with Chase, and Boyd kind of becomes that clear third guy. Galladay is the first option. I think Galladay is the safer play, but Chuba Hubbard is the guy that's going to touch the football more in this game. And let's be honest, this is Chuba's opportunity to kind of show out a little bit against a pretty bad Philadelphia defense. So this is a clear opportunity, I think, for him to show everybody one more time and say, hey, I'm a pretty good running back here in the NFL. And then Christian McCaffrey comes back next week, and this all goes away, hopefully. But I think Hubbard is the floor play. I think Kenny Galladay is the ceiling. Once again, they're running out of guys to throw the football to. You saw them last week work the football more to Galladay. Galladay's probably the guy that you want in your lineup, most likely, if you really got to fight. Let's say you're behind on Thursday Night Football, right? You're already playing, behind the team that had a really good night or something like that. Or you're playing against a team that's got a really good matchups and really good players on it. Then maybe we consider pivoting to Galladay, and I think that would make sense. But I think Galladay has the best combination of things. Hubbard a little bit safer, but Galladay, especially, it's a half PPR, which is why I always say the running back in half is a little bit safer. They tend to have a little bit more touchdown equity, but see what your lineup needs. I don't think you can go wrong there. Next, Chris wants to know, Cortland Sutton or Allen Robinson at half PPR. I think you got to go with Cortland Sutton here. Cooks is in that mix too, but he's not in that mix for me. We already talked about Cooks. It's Cortland Sutton. I actually have a fun fact here from our good friend Andrew Erickson I'll share with everybody. You ready for this, boys and girls? Here you go. Ready for your stat of the day? Cortland Sutton, 28% target share with Teddy Bridgewater, under center since week 2, 6th in total air yards, and the Steelers, 6th most fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. That, of course, courtesy of our good friend Andrew Erickson from PFF. Teddy Bridgewater's playing today, which means Cortland Sutton's playing for me today if I have that choice. I am hoping Allen Robinson doesn't become an afterthought. I really don't want this to be the case. Poor Allen Robinson. All these years playing with quarterbacks that aren't any good. Finally, he's in a big contract year. And so far, things are not going his way. I hope he turns it around today. I hope Allen Robinson has a big game. I'm starting to get a little worried. Panic is starting to set in. Let's go to Unbreakable. Hiya, Joe. So what should I do about Jamar Chase this week? I think you should play him. Is he worth starting over Devontae Smith? Yes. Is he worth starting over Jacoby Myers in half PPR? Yes. Jamar Chase, you're absolutely playing. Jair Alexander out for this game. You're going to have second, third string cornerbacks playing in this game against Higgins, Boyd, and Jamar Chase. I'm starting everybody in Cincinnati because Aaron Rodgers is going to push the ball downfield to Devontae Adams. They're going to put up points, which means Joe Burrow's going to have to answer those points. And you add in Mixon's health to this equation. Yeah, all systems go. Let's go. Jamar Chase. He has a good floor. He has a good ceiling. He's got touchdown equity. He's got all the things you could possibly want. Smith and Myers are good, but Jamar Chase has a chance to be great today. I'll take the chance to be great. That's what I always keep telling myself. Joe, take a chance to be great. All right, let's go to the Parthenon. Parthenon wants to know, thoughts on Trey Sermon going forward, even when Mitchell comes back? I haven't been a Mitchell guy. I've been the Trey Sermon guy the whole time. That being said, it's messy. It's gross. So if you can get something for Trey Sermon now, I would consider doing it. I think it's going to be an ugly situation the rest of the year, barring more injuries, and it's only going to get uglier when Jeffrey Wilson comes back. This might be your window to just get out. Get out. It's like that great movie from a couple years ago that Jordan Peele gave us. Get out of the San Francisco running back situation. That's what you want to do. Next year, half point PPR. Gibson or Mitchell, given Gibson's injury. Injuries or not, if Gibson's on the field, I got to play Gibson. Like, when did Eli Mitchell... Look, I didn't think we would get one today, but we got one. Bro, when did Eli Mitchell become Derrick Henry here? When does he become this guy that he's like a must-start guy over everybody? I get it, it's the 49ers. But come on, man. Like, let's pace ourselves a little bit. Antonio Gibson is a far better talent. And I understand the injury, and I understand it's a problem, and I understand it's a leg injury. I get all that. But at the same time, if Gibson's on the field, Gibson's in my lineup, period, end of story. I will take that L if I have to, because Mitchell doesn't have a clear set of carries either, not with Trey Sermon either, and not with Trey Lance running the football either. A lot of variables there. All right, let's go to the next one here. Frank Allen wants to know, Frank is trading Knox for Melvin Gordon. Is it a good trade? Well, I don't know what side you're on, and without knowing the rosters, this is always tough. I'd say this. I think if you are getting Melvin Gordon, you're getting a guy that can play running back for you every week. If you're getting Dawson Knox, you're playing a guy right now that feels like a pretty good mid-level tight end. To me, this is a good trade on both sides, which is what you should be looking to do. People too much want to win the trade. Here's how you win the trade. You get a player you need, you give a player they need, and everybody wins. That way, somebody wants to trade with you again. Stop sending people stupid trade things. I got sent something yesterday from somebody in the industry, in an industry league, for my Derrick Henry. That was a joke. And I want to say to them, bro, come on, what are you doing here? So don't send those kind of deals. It only makes you look like a fool. But this is a trade I think is a very even trade. It's helpful for the team that you're running back. Certainly helpful for all these teams who have Logan Thomas or George Kittle or any other tight ends who have underperformed or are hurt. It's a good trade all the way around. Everybody wins, just like here at Fantasy Pros. Everybody wins. All right, Gilbert Munoz wants to know, full PPR, Kadarius Toney or Jamal Williams? This one is tricky. Now, Jamal Williams splitting carries, that's always a tricky scenario no matter what. Then on top of that, you're giving me Kadarius Toney, who we don't know how much he is going to touch the football. Now, Jamal Williams theoretically should have some touches this game. Last week he had 14 carries. That was certainly a lot. However, no touchdowns for him. He finishes RB 43. I think I actually roll the dice with Toney. I think this is going to be a game that just crushes the over between the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this one seems like a combined total of 60 waiting to happen to me. So for me, I'm going to go roll the dice with Toney and hope for the best. And also, for the record, Tony, one of my favorite early 90s hip-hop bands that I don't think gets enough credit. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good. And Chris is ignoring me right now. All right, let's move on here. Ron Smith wants to know, Deontay Johnson or A.J. Brown, full point PPR. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is a tough decision to make. A.J. Brown is the standalone wide receiver in a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He hasn't been healthy. He's healthy now. There's no Julio Jones. You have to roll the dice with A.J. Brown. He has the big-time upside. I know DJ is safe. I know the floor is safe. I know the volume is safe. I am worried. I am concerned about Ben Roethlisberger. I'm concerned about the Pittsburgh offense. I'm concerned with where things are trending. And if this starts to go crossways at half, do we get a benching of Ben Roethlisberger? I don't know. All I know is that things are not going in the right direction. So for me, I'm going to roll the dice, take a shot with A.J. Brown. Now, that being said, if you have a very good team and you just want to lock in some points, DJ's a fine play because I get the concern with A.J. Brown because you haven't seen it yet. That is fair. But I want to win this week. I think the winning play this week is A.J. Brown because of the circumstance he's in, the health, no Julio, Jacksonville, all that together. And plus, you got Tennessee coming off a loss to the Jets. A.J. Brown, big week. Let's go. All right, next here, let's go to Kyle. Kyle wants to know full PPR, Tannehill or Lance. This is a tricky one too. I think Lance will have up and down moments, but the Lance rushing ability probably gives you a pretty safe fantasy point floor. Tannehill's been all over the place, man, and it's not all his fault. If you have nobody to throw the football to, I don't know how good you can be. I think Tannehill is a fine play this week. I think in some ways, though, because of the rushing equity that you have with Trey Lance, I think that perhaps Trey Lance also very safe and possibly has a little bit more upside in this game. The best weapon on the Tennessee Titans is always going to be who? Derrick Henry, which means that sometimes some of that touchdown equity goes away. Trey Lance, because he can rush the ball. Trey Lance also because he can throw the ball, has maybe a little bit more. I would lean towards Lance in this matchup. I do think the Cardinals are as good as they've played. I still think the Rams are a better football team despite the score last week. However, they are for real also. This should be a fascinating game. I would lean towards Lance in this one just because maybe, just maybe, they don't have to push the ball as much anyway. If you're the 49ers, you're going to have to play catch up with Kyler Murray. Sorry. Next year, D Live wants to know Jamar Chase or Antonio Brown. tricky because both of these guys are working in committees here in terms of the wide receivers in fantasy. I think I'm going to lean towards Jamar Chase in this one simply because of the matchup, because it could always be the big Evans day, the big Godwin day. And I like AB. I think AB is a really good play today, but I think it's more Higgins and Chase together. I think Boyd is a 3, like a real distant 3, whereas the other guys are right there in the trio. I think if you're going to kind of spin the wheel, I think you get 2 chances to spin the wheel with Chase. You get 1 chance to spin the wheel with AB. I love AB. AB is the guy. Tom Brady also historically does not play great in Miami. Just as a Patriots fan, I know I can tell you, even Chris, my producer, can tell you, there's been a lot of struggles in September, October games down there in the heat in Miami for Tom Brady. And also, you have to wonder just a tad, coming off a huge emotional week, do they come out a little flat here, the Bucs? Or is it the opposite? Do they come out, thank goodness that New England game is over and I don't have to talk about it anymore, and now we can go back to being Bruce Arians' team and being fun again? Maybe. But let's not forget about the struggles in Miami. Brady playing in the heat. Let's also not forget, too, about sometimes there's a lot of emotion and sometimes teams come out a little flat after a game like that. There's a lot of variables. I think that Green Bay Cincinnati game is going to be the sneaky fun game of the day. I really do. And the total's kind of telling you too, especially with that Jair Alexander injury. I keep coming back to that, but I think that's huge. Look at what happened to Tampa when they started losing corners. Look at what happened to that defense. Getting shredded. People throwing the ball against them. All right, next year, Sanders or Gainwell. I'm ready, Jet. Kenneth Gainwell. Enough. I have had it with Miles Sanders. Luckily, I haven't had it with him because I don't have him on any teams. 0 shares. But for all of you out there that have the shares, especially in the PPR leagues right now, I don't know how you can play Sanders and feel good about it. I'd rather play Gainwell, hope for the best. Think of it this way. Miles Sanders has to touch the football X number of times, right? He's not getting a lot of carries. They're probably going to be behind in this game. Kenneth Gainwell, if he catches 5 balls for 50 in a PPR, that's 10. If he gets a touchdown, that's 16. Ooh, the lolly. That's good points. Let's go. All right, let's move on. Jim wants to know, hey, Joe, A.J. Brown or T. Higgins in a standard league? Help. Ooh, the standard. It's a little trickier. Because he gets so much target share, T. Higgins is very, very interesting to me this week. These guys are both coming off injuries and playing. But because A.J. Brown is the lone guy, I'm going to try to put all my equity in the lone guy and hope for the best. Because there are variables with Chase. There are variables with Boyd, even though I don't want to admit it. And Joe Mixon as well. A.J. Brown is the last man standing, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ugh, gross. Give me A.J. Brown in this one, but it is close. That is a tough one. Next, Alex wants to know, Sanders or Gainwell? If you rewind 5 seconds, you get your answer. I love it. Same question. I don't think you can rewind the live stream. Chris, get on that. Start working on that. All right, let's see. If you rewind the live stream, then I have to do this all over again, and I don't think anybody wants to do that. We have DVR features enabled. I was just told. That is amazing. So you can go back and listen to that same answer. Short answer, Gainwell. Moving on. All right. Emilio. If you get that reference, then you enjoyed Night at the Roxbury. You can move your head a little bit. Next, Emilio wants to know, hi, Joe, should I flex Kareem Hunt or Damian Harris full PPR? I was loving Harris until everybody on the offensive line got out for this game for the New England Patriots. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference at the end of the day against the Texans. However, that being said, I think in PPR, I feel more comfortable with Hunt. Hunt has played extremely well the last few days. I think this is more of a Chubb game myself against that Chargers defense. It gives up a ton of rushing yards. However, he's still touching the football a ton. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt in the full point PPR. If it was half, it might be closer to Harris. If it was standard, I would probably still lean towards Harris just to make sure I got that workload in, but I would go with Kareem Hunt. Wayne Tables wants to know Chuba or Emmanuel Sanders in a flex. Does not give me the format. You got to give me the format. It helps. It helps inform my decisions. I like informed decisions. All right. To me, I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard. I want the touches. I want to try to get in there. I don't know what's going to happen with Emmanuel Sanders. I know Dan Harris knows every week. He is the Emmanuel Sanders whisperer. But guess what? He's visiting his mom this weekend. You're stuck with me, so I'm going to tell you Chuba Hubbard. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know how many weeks of Emmanuel Sanders I can take. Apparently, the number is 5 so far, or 4 right now. We'll see if it's 5 after this. JR, should I pick up John Ross as a stash in a 12-team league? No. There's got to be somebody better. Tony, yeah. Stash Tony. Tony's exciting. Tony's fun. He's got the little moves going back and forth. Very exciting stuff there. I like that. John Ross, no. If he's running a 40, sure. If you get extra points for good numbers on 40 times, John Ross is your guy. If you got a 100-yard dash coming up or maybe a relay race, all the John Ross. For playing football, not so much. Next, Antonio Gibson or Damian Williams. Oh boy, this is a tougher one because talent-wise is Antonio Gibson, but health-wise, it's Damian Williams. I also think the commitment that the Bears have to run the football, whereas Washington doesn't have to, and J.D. McKissick's around, and they're doing a bunch of stuff there. Taylor Heineke can run the football too sometimes. Not to say that Fields can't, but I think, once again, I said it before, I will say it again, I think the Bears showed their hand a little bit. I think Damian Williams is going to get a lot of work in this game. I think Damian Williams is going to get 20 carries. That's enough to get me excited about Damian Williams. Give me Damian Williams. Next, Dan wants to know, Antonio Brown or Mooney in the full point PPR. The Mooney thing was very exciting last week, but I can't start him over AB yet. And I say yet because this could be another big game and Mooney smashes it and we're very excited. But Antonio Brown last week should have had a touchdown. If you look at Antonio Brown's game log, he had the one missed game because of COVID, and then he had a great first game, down second game, and probably his numbers should have been even better against New England, and he should have had that touchdown. If it wasn't raining in that tough situation, maybe he comes down with that ball. But AB is, I still say, Tom Brady's favorite. So even though you have to fight through a couple different guys there, I'm going to go lean with a better quarterback. Give me Tom Brady. Give me AB. Next, Shannon wants to know, good morning, Shannon. PPR, Swift, Chubb, Jones, McLaurin, pick 2. Easy. I don't know if we're talking Aaron Jones here, but if we are, it's always Aaron Jones. Always. And in the PPR, it's hard not. I mean, how do you take Terry McLaurin out of a lineup? This is weird because if you've got Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, and Swift, and Terry McLaurin, who else are you starting? What's going on here? This is like the greatest team ever assembled. If it's not Aaron Jones, I'm trying to think if it could be another Jones right now. If it's Marvin Jones, then it's Chubb. It's Chubb all day. If it's Aaron Jones, it's Aaron Jones and McLaurin. If it's Marvin Jones, or I don't know, some other lesser Jones, then maybe it's definitely Nick Chubb and Terry McLaurin. Billy is next. Billy, half-point PPR, AB, T. Higgins, or Galladay. Half-point PPR. I'm going to go with my boy T. Higgins in this game today. It's got the good feeling about the T. Higgins. I can't quantify it. It's just a gut feeling there. He's back. Big game here. I think they're going to have to throw the football a ton. Again, it's the 3 versus the 2. How many spins of the wheel you get? Same question we asked before about Chase. Same answer with Higgins. Probably a little bit more opportunity, potentially less fighting than what Brown has to fight through. And who knows? They could get up by a lot, and you might see a lot of Ronald Jones in this game and Leonard Fournette. It is very possible. Not out of the realm of possibilities. Ryan wants to know, Tannehill, Fields, or pick up Lawrence and play him. These guys are all very close, especially rest of season for me. I think Fields is a perfectly fine play this week. Tannehill should be better. You should be able to play Tannehill, I think, with a little bit of confidence. I have more confidence in Tannehill than Fields right now. But I think in this matchup against Tennessee, I have more confidence in Lawrence than either. Because, look, Lawrence has played pretty well. He's starting to get it. It's starting to pick up a little bit for him. He's had a little bit more rest time, a little bit more work time. Apparently, more rest time, not the best thing for Urban Meyer. But for Trevor Lawrence, might be pretty good. So I actually think Lawrence in this matchup against the Tennessee defense is absolutely dreadful. Zach Wilson looked good against that defense last week. I think Lawrence might be the highest of all 3. So yeah, if you have to drop one of them, I would drop Fields because, you just never know what's going on. Lawrence isn't giving up that job. I mean, neither is Tannehill. So let's be honest. James Strange wants to know, hey, Joe, great show. Thanks, James. Beasley or Emmanuel Sanders? I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders here. I'm not going to go with Cole Beasley. And then Brady or Lamar Jackson. This is a tricky one. I think I still take the rushing equity of Lamar Jackson. Also going to get Bateman healthy in this game too. That's a good thing. It's always tough to sit Brady. It's probably a good game theoretically for Brady. But I keep warning about the Miami thing. I keep warning about coming off flat after a very emotional week. Those are all real set of circumstances. They might come out and be gangbusters. They might run a flea flicker in the first play and throw a 50-yard touchdown, and it's 40-3. That is possible. But Lamar, I think this is a competitive game all throughout. Lamar is definitely a guy that I think that still, despite how good Tom Brady is, I think you still start Lamar. That boy, sit one, Debo, AJ Brown, or Amari Cooper, half-point PPR. I'm going to sit the guy who's least healthy, and that's Amari Cooper. I'm going to take my chances with Debo and AJ Brown. I think that's where I go. Next here, Joe Pochi. Joe Pochi? Sounds like a dance craze from the late 90s. Everybody used to do the Japochi. It was a very popular thing. I think it was after the Chattahoochee and somewhere in between the achy breaky heart. The Japochi wants to know, full PPR, Damian Williams, Jacoby Myers, Mooney in the flex. Because it's the PPR, I want a little extra points from Darnell Mooney. He has touchdown equity. Give me the wide receiver here in this one. Patrick Griffiths wants to know, Mooney or Tony? Full point PPR. Still Mooney for me. Tony's very exciting. I'm excited. We're all excited. Let's be realistic. Still Daniel Jones. I know he's played better, but you keep giving up opportunities when you turn over the ball, and he likes to do that. And the way Trayvon Diggs has played, the way Micah Parsons has played, that could be a distinct possibility in this game for Daniel Jones. Then you pull away opportunities to score if you're the Giants. So give me Mooney. Happy Dogs. Half PPR, Beasley, Allen Robinson, or Pittman. Oh, man, this is a tough one. It's not Beasley. Let's push him aside. Allen Robinson, I'm waiting for the Allen Robinson game. We have not seen it yet. I think you go with Pittman here, and you just hope for the best. I really do. Pittman, Kyle, and I don't like giving Kyle too much credit. I love Kyle, but giving him credit's not a thing I like to do. But Pittman is getting really close. He's getting a lot of opportunities. He just hasn't converted them yet. I would look for him to convert them against the Baltimore Ravens this week. And by the way, while you're watching football today, don't forget about Fantasy Pros Game Day, your real-time play-by-play for all your players on all of your fantasy rosters. We track your matchups across all your leagues, giving you the ability to monitor fantasy leaders, stats, and scores for the entire season. Game Day is live on NFL Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays, but you can only find it at fantasypros.com/gameday by downloading the Fantasy Pros My Playbook app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. So go out and get that done. And if you want to ask a question, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Fantasy Pros. Click that little ding, that little bell, that little notifications button so you can be aware of all the amazing content that our famous producer, Chris, turns out on literally an hour. Every hour, there's a new piece of content. Sometimes it's just him drinking whatever strange brown water was in that mason jar that he showed me. Once again, Oregon Trail stuff. I don't know what, maybe, Chris is a big health nut. So he's probably got all kinds of weird things, like he mixes all together and does all that, adds all the powders and the other. I don't know what he's doing, but it works because he stays up for 20 hours a day, and the 20 hours a day allows him to produce all the YouTube content. That is the trick. All right, let's get back to your questions, the important things here. And let's start with Trish. Trish wants to know Trish Diaz wants to know Aaron Rodgers. Sorry there. It must be the brown water. Jalen Hurts or Aaron Rodgers? Oh, man, Trish has got a conundrum here. The Cincinnati Bengals defense has played well. Aaron Rodgers should be the guy, theoretically. You go, oh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, you start him. But you know what? Jalen Hurts is rushing equity. I got to give it up. I got to give the boys some credit because Jalen Hurts has been a QB1 every single week. I'm actually going to go with Jalen Hurts in this matchup. Now, if you want to just play it safe, you like the rest of your lineup and you're just a little worried, Aaron Rodgers is going to be safe. He's going to have a good day with Adams. Sometimes you do lose some touchdowns, though. If it's, a big Aaron Jones day, sometimes that can happen. Jalen Hurts isn't going to lose touchdowns because it doesn't look like anybody wants to run the football there except him. So that's a good thing for you. So I think Hurts is more of the upside play. If you just want to be safe with Rodgers, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll try to check him out too in the rankings where I have him this week because I think they're probably neck and neck for me as well. Just 2 spots different between the two of them. Rodgers is safer, but I will say this. If you look, it's been up and down. He's had a 34 QB finish in that first game. Maybe we throw that out because it was terrible. QB 5, QB 17, QB 8. Whereas Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, guess what? Jalen Hurts has finished QB 6, QB 10, QB 9, QB 4. And as I'm looking at this more and more, I'm starting to think maybe Hurts has the better floor anyway. You know what? To heck with it. You know what? Let's go. Hurts. There you go. Done and done. In fact, I'm just going to adjust my rankings right now because of that conversation I just had with myself and you, Trish. So thank you, Trish. You're helping me. Helping me help you. It's very Jerry Maguire of us this morning. Let's continue on. David Gallagher wants to know, I live to make Chris, by the way, shake his head. When Chris behind the scenes gives me this, I know we are producing great content that people want to watch. That's how I know things are working here at Fantasy Pros. Next up, David Gallagher with a defense question. Carolina or Arizona? This is a good one here. Carolina's defense has played really well. I don't know how turnover prone they're going to be. Whenever you have a rookie quarterback, there's some turnover possibilities here. I don't love the San Francisco offensive line. I think I lean towards Arizona by a hair if you need a little bit more upside. If you want to play it safe, Carolina's the floor. Arizona's the upside. Look at your lineup, see what you need. Try not to get it wrong. Sholo wants to know, P. Ryan or Cooks in a PPR league? Gross. P. Ryan's probably not going to play, so I have to play Brandon Cooks. Can I say neither? Neither? Let's just call the whole thing off between these two guys. I don't like either one, but we'll do the best we can. And I got a head shake. That is number 5 on the day, in case you're keeping score. Maybe Chris can work in a little thing that drops down where I know how many head shakes of his complete disdain for the Joe Pisapia brand of live stream. So the meter is at 5 right now. We'll see if we can get it to 8 by noon. Keep an eye on it. We'll see. Next week it's going to be that drop down, and you're going to see it's going to be Chris's head like this, just shaking back and forth. He is so overworked, but something tells me he is going to find a way to put the extra time in to get that done. Something tells me. We'll see if it happens. That's all we need, more boxes around my head. All right, continuing on here. Kevin Williams wants to know, Laviska Shenault or Jamar Chase, full point PPR? Look, man, I love Shenault this week. He's a great play. I still got to go to Jamar Chase. Got to go Jamar Chase. Green Bay defensively, like I said, when you get to that second, third string cornerbacks, this matchup disaster for them. I'm looking forward to this game. I like Laviska a lot. Jamar Chase for me. Noah wants to know, DK cash play, Lance or Danny Dimes? I think in the cash game, to be honest, I think I play Lance because it allows you to pay up other spots, get somebody better in your flex. I think they're going to be close, these two, in terms of overall points today, probably closer than you might think potentially. So therefore, in a cash game on DK, what I do, Noah, is I would go ahead and spend that up at wide receiver. If you go up to a Jefferson, go up to a Devontae Adams, who is pretty reasonably priced, all things considered, I think that's what I want to do, because I take the Lance, a couple $100, whatever it is that you're going to save, and I kind of spread it around to the rest of the lineup. So that's what I would do with that. Next, Greg wants to know, Pittman or Cooper? Pittman Jr. or Amari Cooper? Here's where I lose it for Pittman, because I just talked about Pittman in a certain circumstance, but I can't put him in the same circumstance with Amari Cooper, even injured. I will roll the dice with Amari Cooper in this game against the Giants regardless. Give me Amari Cooper. Next, Hectic Tangent wants to know, PPR, Mixon or Jamal Williams? Mixon's playing, it's Mixon. And some down news here. Dalvin Cook officially inactive. So great. Terrific. Awesome. Fire up those Madison shares. I cannot catch a break in the most important league. And here you go. I want everybody out there to know you're not the only ones who can complain, and you're not the only ones that have things not go their way. I have Montgomery and Cook together in the league that means the most to me, the league to defend my championship back there for Superflex and Flex leagues. And I don't know who I'm starting now. I guess Ty Montgomery, your next man up. Gross. Terrible. Awful. So big news there. Make sure you have Dalvin Cook out of your lineups. Next, Trey Lance or Kirk Cousins? That's from T-Dub. T-Dub wants to know Trey Lance or Kirk Cousins. I play Lance for the rushing equity. Kirk Cousins I think will play better, but give me Lance today. Enough. Josh, Galladay or Devontae Smith, full point PPR. Galladay, because as the last man standing last week, I think we're starting to see that that's kind of where things are going with that offense. Rolando wants to know, standard scoring, Allen Robinson or Antonio Brown or James Conner. In the standard league, it's funny. Conner's appealing, but I think I would go for Antonio Brown for the biggest yardage total. Conner's a little touchdown dependent. I know Edmonds is a little banged up, but at the same time, I'm going to go with Antonio Brown and hope for the yards and the touchdown. I'm going to get greedy here. That's what I'm going to do. All right, next is Scott. Juju. No. I don't care what the situation. No. Friends do not let friends start Juju Smith-Schuster anymore in fantasy leagues. No. Juju, Mitchell. No. Mitchell, Sermon, or Curtis Samuel. Scott. You might want to crack open that six-pack early with this group. I'll go with Eli Mitchell here and just gross, terrible. I want to say Samuel, but I'm not real confident right now of Samuel getting integrated into the offense right now. I can't go anywhere near Juju Smith-Schuster. He's wide receiver 67, I think, on the year. I can't do it. I'd love to. I'd love to tell you that's a safe way to go. So I'm going to flip the coin. I'm going to flip it for Mitchell because they just seem to love Eli Mitchell. Like everybody loves Eli Mitchell. Worst sitcom ever. Scuba wants to know, Jacobs or Hubbard in a full PPR? I think I'm going to still go with Jacobs here in this one. Just because I think they need to run Jacobs a little bit more in that offense. Next level DJs. Hello from Toronto. Hello, my friends north of the border. Full PPR, Hollywood, Pittman, or Elijah Mitchell. I'm going to go with Hollywood, actually, in this one. Hollywood's getting a lot of targets. I know he doesn't catch them all, but when he does, good things happen. And Pittman, still the quarterback play there just drives me crazy. And you want to know why Pittman hasn't scored touchdowns? It's because of the quarterback play. I know. All the spoilers here over on Fantasy Pros. Aiden wants to know, should I start Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold? This is another one. Every time we ask a question about Aaron Rodgers, I get more disenfranchised with starting Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to the tail of the tape. Let's do it. Quarterback 17, quarterback 13, quarterback 5, quarterback 1. That's the last couple weeks for Sam Darnold. I went to the up and down Aaron Rodgers. I will still go with Aaron Rodgers in this game. However, it's getting close. And if you are in a single quarterback league, here's what you do right now. I know you got buys coming up. Take a look at your buys. Take a look at what's going on. See what's on the waiver wire. One of these guys has trade value to somebody else. Probably the person who just lost Russell Wilson. You should call them, text them, send them an email, do something. Say, hey, heard about Russell Wilson. I'm so sorry. Would you like an Aaron Rodgers or a Sam Darnold? And then take another piece that helps you in your lineup every single week. A wide receiver, a running back, a tight end. Something you can get because you only got to stream a quarterback for 1 week. I don't want to take Sam Darnold out. I don't want to take Aaron Rodgers out. In a single quarterback league, that's what you do. All right. So that's the real deep advice that we're giving here today. Eddie C, T. Higgins or Devontae Smith? T. Higgins. Let's go, Eddie. Eric, PPR, Zach Moss, Damian Harris, or Madison? Well, Madison now, depressed. That's me right now. Just depressed. Next, CEH or Joe Mixon. This is a trickier one because of Mixon's health. I actually think I'm going to lead towards CEH. I think, and I believe this to be true, what you saw the last couple weeks here for CEH is a good thing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to realize the same thing that the Bucs are realizing, which they got to stop being so one-dimensional. You got to get the running backs involved a little bit, whether they're carrying the football, whether they're catching the football in the backfield. You just got to do something with the running backs. You become one-dimensional. You're always throwing the football. Next thing you know, that volume ends up leading to mistakes, even with great quarterbacks like Mahomes or Tom Brady. So for me personally, I think this is where we're going here, where you're seeing CH integrate a little bit better. You're seeing Leonard Fournette do it a little bit too the last couple weeks. A little frustrating though, because of course, Ronald Jones gets the touchdown, but I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. CH for me over Mixon this week just because of the health. Also because of game script too. I think CH is going to work, try to keep Josh Allen off the field. Next is Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, or Devin Singletary. Javonte Williams and hope for the best. I have no faith in Miles Sanders. I have no faith in Devin Singletary. That's an easy one, Nate. Isaiah. By the way, before I get to Isaiah's question, got like 10 minutes left here, maybe 15 at the most, depending on how many head shakes Chris has left in that hat of his. Here's what you do. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Fantasy Pros. That way you can get your question asked. If people are wondering why I can't ask a question, it's because you haven't subscribed. So subscribe if you haven't. And when you do, click that little notifications bell so you can understand all the great content. In fact, there's content tonight because Dan Harris is traveling, which means guess what? I'm picking up the slack for Dan Harris yet again. This is just the story of my life all year. Dan Harris, just lazy Dan Harris. It would be nice if he would just work, right? Just work a little bit harder. I kid, of course, because Dan Harris is probably the hardest working man in show business. He deserves a night off. So Pat Fitzmaurice and myself will tonight be taking you through the recap. Should be a lot of fun tonight. And guess what? You'll get a little reminder. Bing. Oh, look, there it is. Joe and Pat talking about what happened in the games. You can come lament with us, complain, anything you want to do. It's going to be a good time. All right, let's go to Isaiah's question now. With Cook out, should I start Sutton or Madison, full PPR flex. I love the Sutton matchup this week, but I got to go with the touches for Madison. Just got to go. It's got touchdown equity. It's got catchability. He's got rushability. I'm making up words. Madison. I want to start Sutton, but Madison I think is the way to go. Joshua, half-point PPR, Amari Cooper, Devontae Smith, Chuba Hubbard, Damian Williams. I think I go with the Damian Williams touches here. Amari Cooper is a close second. If I need a little bit more boom, I roll the dice with Amari Cooper in that total. If I just want to play it safe, Damian Williams. Daniel Schwartz wants to know, I need two. Tannehill, Justin Fields, Heineke. Heineke, Tannehill. You get a little upside there with Heineke. You get a little bit of floor with Tannehill. And you just watch the Justin Fields experiment unfold a little bit because he's still more unknown. Heineke's been very good. And Fields might outscore them both. But I think in terms of volatility, Fields has the most volatility. I'm going to put the rookie down a peg there and go ahead in that route. Next year, Madison or Chuba Hubbard. I think I got to go with Madison here because the Vikings Vikings need this. They're playing Detroit. They're at home. Got to go with Madison here. Boyd, Chenault, in the flex and the standard. That's from Frankie. Frankie, how you doing? I'm going to play Chenault in the standard. I think he has more touchdown equity. I really do. I think I would be surprised if Chenault did not see the end zone today. Boyd, a lot more competition for it. Next is Juan Sanchez, Dallas defense or Arizona. I got to tell you, I like Dallas's D. Look at your scoring. If you get a lot of scoring for turnovers, I would play the Dallas defense because I think Trayvon Diggs is just, like I said, out of his mind right now. I think Daniel Jones is always good for a couple turnovers. You put pressure on him. He fumbles the football all the time. I think that's the way I would go. If you're looking to just get total in terms of points allowed and things like that, depending on if that's the way the point totals are skewed in your scoring system, then I think you can go with Arizona in that circumstance. Steve Diaz wants to know, full PPR, Deontay Johnson or Emmanuel Sanders? DJ all day in the full point PPR. Don't overthink this. I don't care what Emmanuel Sanders says. I'm so sick of hearing about Emmanuel Sanders. Aaron Jones or Fournette? Steve, bro, Aaron Jones or Leonard Fournette? I like Leonard Fournette. Aaron Jones or Leonard Fournette? Bro. Aaron Jones. Come on. Bro. All right. Next year, Morgan, full point PPR. Allen Robinson or Tim Patrick? Oh, goodness gracious. Allen Robinson. And I don't know if you have to get some kind of weird voodoo doll. I don't know if we have to do some sort of weird dance to get Allen Robinson back. I like Tim Patrick as a player. He's a nice little play. But he's not Allen Robinson. We got to hope Allen Robinson does something. If he doesn't this week, you can come back next week, Morgan, and you can just yell it and scream at me, and that's fine. Next is, it's a farce. Mixon or Latavius Murray? Mixon. If Mixon's playing, it's Mixon. Latavius Murray is 2 yards of cloud of dust and he falls in the end zone. I am not excited about Latavius Murray. Steven wants to know, please help. Sure. Mixon, Moss, Melvin Gordon, or Jamal Williams in a PPR. Look, if Mixon's playing, how do I take out a guy who's an RB1? I just can't do it. If he's good enough to play, he's good enough to start for better or for worse. Now, that being said, if you're in a really tough spot right now and you're just looking to play it safe, I think Melvin Gordon is the safe one. It's not the easiest matchup. Pittsburgh Steelers kind of playing for their life right now. I would still give it a shot with Mixon. Next is Chris, not our producer, another Chris. One that doesn't shake his head at me in disdain over and over and over again. Justin Herbert or Trey Lance? I understand the temptation with Trey Lance. I get it. Justin Herbert has earned my respect. Justin Herbert has a tougher matchup. I get it. Why not even a tougher? Just a tough matchup. I just say tougher. They're both bad. Trey Lance has rushing upside. I get that. But Justin Herbert has earned my respect. I'm not taking Justin Herbert out. So what does this mean? Same thing I said to the other person. When you have two good quarterbacks in a single quarterback format, bye weeks are coming. Injuries are here to Russell Wilson. Trade one of them. You trade Trey Lance, actually. You don't trade Justin Herbert. This one, you trade Trey Lance because I don't think they are as close. Rest of the season, I still want Herbert. And look, Trey Lance is getting all this pub, right? So you might be able to sell high on him and get a lot more than you even think, especially if he plays really well today. Don't get fooled by that and try to trade Herbert. Herbert is your safer play. Herbert's the guy you want every week. All right, stick around because after this live stream is over, we have another live stream. The reason why I do the one first here is because Kyle has a little bit more hair to do before his live stream. So he gets his hair all ready, gets the gel going, whatever fade he's got to rock, all that stuff. It takes a little bit more time. Me, I just wake up. I put the tie on, I do the show. It's a lot easier for me, no hair to do. But hopefully the hair will be tight and the advice will be even better in the next hour when you get Kyle Yates joining you for the next one. All right. Tebow Legend wants to know half point PPR, Renfro, Schultz, or Knox. Pick one. Ooh, this is interesting here. In the half point PPR, I'm playing for the touchdowns. And if I'm playing for the touchdowns, I'm playing Schultz. I mean, at this point, what do we have to get beaten over the head with it? Giants struggle against tight ends anyway. Give me Schultz. Let's go. Knox is good too. Renfro good too. Give me Schultz. Let's go. Nathan Malone, half point PPR with Parker out, Waddle or AB. Oh, goodness gracious. In the half point PPR, I still go AB because I think he has a better chance of seeing the end zone. So if it was full point PPR, I might have more pause. Half point, give me AB, give me Tom Brady. I'll live and die on that hill over Jacoby Brissett. Devontae Parker, as we know, inactive. Christian McCaffrey, inactive. Also Dalvin Cook, if you're just joining us, inactive as well. Active, which is great. Players actually playing football on week 5. What a beautiful thing. Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel, TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Cortland Sutton, all playing today. Yay! Also, in case you missed it, I don't know how you did, but if you missed it, George Kittle also not playing today. So you lost Logan Thomas, you lost George Kittle. It's a lot of losing at tight ends. If you got a live tight end, I want to hear about it in the chat. Tell me about have you have more than one tight end that's useful. Let's go with Mr. Grug. Please help Joe. Should I trade DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Taylor for Austin Eckler? Mister, here's the question you have to ask yourself. What's it look like after Eckler? Who's your RB2 and your RB3 in case there's injury and bye weeks coming up, right? If you have let's say that you're an Aaron Jones team and then you're going to add Austin Eckler, yes. I believe in Austin Eckler more than Swift and Taylor. However, if after you deal Swift and Taylor, you got Austin Eckler and a bunch of crap at RB2, I don't do this. I keep the depth. I play the depth. And as these teams continue to lose big-time running backs, that's the kind of scenario we're in right now. Brian A. wants to know, Landry droppable for position need at half PPR? Yeah, I think he is right now. You can always pick him back up. Look, if you're going to get something that can help you win this week, or a player that you really like, let's say Darnell Mooney is out there, yeah. If there's Kadarius Toney out there, and you need him, maybe. But that's what you got to ask yourself. If there's Gainwell, yeah. Depends on who the player is, Brian. But is he droppable for the right price? Yes. Next, Alex wants to know, Darnold or Cousins? Darnold. He says, convince me. Okay, let's do it. Let's convince you. I'll go to the tail of the tape here like we've been doing. I already read the Darnold stuff out there, but I'll do it again since you need convincing. QB 17, QB 13, QB 5, QB 1. You see how that's going? It's going up like this. That's good. We like that. Kirk Cousins. I know it's a really good matchup today. I get it. Let's play a game with Kirk Cousins. Ready? QB 13, QB 6, QB 6, QB 27. Up and down and up and down. Look, I know it's a good matchup. I'm taking Darnold. Darnold's playing good football right now. He's got DJ Moore rocking and rolling. He's got the Eagles today. Come on, let's go. Cousins, you just never know. It should always be good with Cousins. Is it always good with Cousins? No. Go look at the game log. Next, is it Maji, Teddy B, or Jacoby Brissett? I'll roll the dice with Teddy B. I don't like Brissett not having Fuller. I don't like him not having Devontae Parker. I don't like him not being able to run the football today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't like a lot of things when it comes to the Dolphins. This could be the end of the Dolphins. Remember when everybody was excited about the Dolphins? Like, oh, look at the Dolphins. They're so adorable. They're like humans and they're mammals, but they live in the sea and they won 10 games. They almost made the playoffs. It was such a good story and everybody felt so good. All those feelings are gone right now. Injuries are destroying this football team. They could be staring at 1-4 after today. That's not a good scenario. Okay, so give me Teddy B. Next is Andrew wants to know Jalen Waddle or Jacoby Myers in the half-point PPR. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle because Jacoby Myers hasn't scored a touchdown since Pop Warner. Sam Norris, Hawkinson or Knox, half-point PBR. Hawkinson still, he's playing. I want Hawkinson in. He's got a higher floor, maybe as high of a ceiling as well. Dan is up. Yo, Joey P. What's up, Dan? Half-point PPR, Joe Mixon, Allen Robinson, or Jalen Waddle with Parker out. In the half-point, I'm still going with Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon can play, I'm going to put Joe Mixon in. That's going to make Kyle very happy, who I see is now joining us shortly to take over the reins for me. I'm going to hand that out there. But I think you have to try your best and start Joe Mixon in that situation. Rakumamba. Actually, his full name is Rakumamba Mamba. Jonathan Taylor or Alexander Madison. I'm going to still start Jonathan Taylor. I know it's Baltimore, but Baltimore's defense has not been great this year. Can we just all agree on that? Can we come to that realization? They're maybe a little overrated? Maybe just a tad? Give me Jonathan Taylor in this, despite the Alexander Madison matchup. This could be a game where you see a ton of touchdowns from guys like Thielen and Jefferson. It could be one of those kind of wide open games. Andrew wants to know, should I trade Noah Fant or Kyle Pitts? I would trade Fant because Fant to me is a nice tight end. Kyle Pitts still has that upside of being great. And if you have two tight ends, somebody in your league has 0 right now after this week. Somebody does. Kittle out. Thomas out. Robert Tonyan MIA. There's a lot of bad things going in at the tight end position. You got two guys. You keep Pitts, you trade Fant. Now the one caveat I'll give you is this. If somebody's going to overpay for Pitts, blow your mind, give you a big-time wide receiver or something really like they shouldn't give you, okay, Fant is still a guy you can play every week and be okay with it. That's the way I would approach it, but I think I'd rather take the upside with Pitts there. Continuing on here, Shola wants to know Murray, Williams, or McKissick. You got to be more specific with your Williams is, or your Williams I don't know. However the plural of Williams goes, I don't know. All I know is you got to tell me which ones. I'm going to go with McKissick anyway because it's PPR and I just want all the catches. I assume Jamal Williams. Could be Javonte Williams. I'm still going to go with McKissick. Next is Don. He said he's worried about injuries. Half-point PPR between Amari Cooper or Shenault at wide receiver. As much as I like the Shenault matchup this week, I have to go, once again, roll the dice with Amari Cooper. Bigger offense, bigger potential total. I know the injury's there. This is a big in-division game, though, for the Giants and the Cowboys, so all hands on deck. I think I'm going to lean with and roll the dice with Amari Cooper. Kevin Williams back for a second one. Kevin, look at you asking 2 questions in a day. Tony Pollard, Jamal Williams, or Miles Sanders in a full-point PPR. I'll tell you what, man. Give me Tony Pollard. Miles Sanders is this close to being dead to me. I am out. I'm out on the Miles Sanders. I already told you about Gainwell. Told you week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you're still not listening. You're still just 40% rostered. Go pick him up, please. But give me Tony Pollard. I'm going to play the total. Again, that's what it comes down to. Jamal Williams banged up. Ezekiel Elliott a little banged up too. I think Zeke's going to have a big game today. I really do. But what if that knee is a little worse than we realize? And what if this is just actually something we should be more concerned with? Tony Pollard still getting his touches, still getting involved in the offense. All right, we'll try to get 2 more in here, and then we're going to close the chapter on me. Chris is going to go refill that creepy mason jar with some other weird discolored water. I don't know what that liquid is. I don't want to know. Once again, the Oregon Trail called, and they want their cooler back, Chris. That's what they want. Next here, Mark White, Madison or Fournette. You got to play Madison, I think, in the cash games today. You're going to see a lot of people pivot to Madison. I still, today, your best value on the board at running back in DFS is still James Robinson. I think Damian Williams also very good. I know everyone's going to go to Madison right away. That's fine. It's going to be a little bit higher roster than you might like it to be, but I think still Madison over Fournette. Yes, that's the way I would go. And it does allow you to go up a quarterback if you do. If you go up a quarterback today too, go up with Kyler Murray. That's the guy to go up for because you're missing a lot of the big time quarterbacks. There's a really better grouping under AK today, including Joe Burrow, including Lance. It's a lot of guys you can roster in DFS. Last one. AJ Brown or AJ Green at 10-man PPR, the battle of the AJs. AJ Brown is by himself. AJ Brown is healthy. AJ Brown is playing Jacksonville. If I'm wrong about this, I will take all the heat. Give me AJ Brown. On that note, I've got to go take Dalvin Cook out of a lineup where I'm already miserable. Hopefully your Sunday will go better than that. And hopefully you stick around for more great content here on the live stream. And hopefully Chris will get that counter. I believe we hit 7 on the counter. My prediction was 8. We hit the under. Oh, there it is, 8. We are right on it. Oh, good. So we'll see if we can get that little counter of Chris's head, shaking his head in disdain next week on the live stream. If we don't, Chris, I'll be disappointed in you. But you'll never be disappointed in Fantasy Pros. Stick around for more Kyle Yates on the live stream next. That'll do it for me, Joe Pisapia. I will be back tonight with Pat Fitzmaurice. Don't forget at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, recapping all of the Sunday action. So have a great Sunday afternoon, everybody, and enjoy your football.